FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. It's Kerry, Lutz, and gold prices have been on the move up, as have silver. Today, October 13th, 2015, no exception. And we're talking with Polny. You know him well from gold2020forecast.com. He's been talking about the stock market. He pretty well nailed that. His numbers on precious metals, not quite as good as his stock market predictions and dollar predictions, too, for that matter. He's totally nailed the dollar. But, hey, we can cut him a little slack because he's with us now. Bo, welcome back to the show.
Kerry, thanks for having me back, and nice to speak with you again. So hopefully all is great with you.
Oh, thank God. Yes, all is well. And, hey, markets, the dollar, the stock market, all is not so well with them, is it?
Absolutely not. You're 100% right.
What's the deal on the stock market, first of all? Because, look, let's face the facts. If you were in precious metals since 2011, you're not a happy camper. If you went all in on 2011, you've taken a real hit, especially the mining shares. But the stock market from really the crash onward has been a tremendous wealth generator here. So what has changed now that's going to make it go the other way?
Well, let's talk about the stock market here, since you're asking about that. I don't know if you recall a couple of the interviews that we did at the first part of 2015. We basically continue, we repeated several times. They were saying that the stock market had an upcycle into summer. And as you noticed, that ended up being exactly correct. And then specifically, I did an interview with Rick Wiles, and we dated that interview intentionally for the 20th of July, because looking at our cycle day counts and specifically our cycle work, that was supposed to be the third week of July was supposed to exactly be a top for the stock market. And lo and behold, it was exactly the top for the stock market. From that point, we were looking for new lows. So all of the July lows were supposed to break. And in the month of August, and they did perfectly, the Dow dropped over 2,700 points. And from the August lows, we were expecting a low into the very, very end of August, first day or two of September for a cycle low. And then we were looking for an upcycle into September. I don't know if you've had a chance, or if your subscribers or your listeners have had a chance, but on our webpage, we specifically made 2 interviews in the month of September. I'm sorry, there are 2 YouTube videos that we posted that are posted on our webpage, and we specifically stated that the month of that we're looking for a cycle low in August, and then the month of September was supposed to be an upcycle. And so the Shemitah that, you and I spoke about earlier, and also that Jonathan Kahn has been referencing, that Shemitah cycle was not supposed to crash, even though that in 2001, that was obviously 9/11.
Yeah.
And then 7 years later, I think, wasn't that the biggest Dow crash there ever was? Like the Dow crashed like 777 points.
666. I thought it crashed at. I thought that was the final down number for some significant or insignificant reason.
Right. Yeah. And see, but the difference between those cycles and this Shemitah cycle, which was Elul 29 or September 13th/14th of this month of September, was, you see, those were 7-year cycles. But then biblically, Kerry, as you know well, is a 7-year cycle. It repeats up until the very end of it. That's the 49th cycle. So this September was the 49th year. But what happens after the 49th year, Kerry?
We start again.
It's the year of what?
Oh, it's the year of the right. Okay.
It's a year of
grand Jubilee.
It's the year of Jubilee. So you have a 50th
Jubilee.
year. So the 50th year is what will usher in the collapse. And so everybody was waiting for it to happen on September, but it was not supposed to. The cycles weren't lined up for it, number one. And number two was there wasn't supposed to be, because Elul 29, that was there. You have an entire next year that's supposed to unfold where the calamities unfold. So the point was, now that after that date, the year of Jubilee began on September 28th of this past September, and now it goes for into next October. Okay. And so now that we have the year of Jubilee, which has begun, we have another looking at now the stock market cycles. Okay. Today's date is October 13th. Anybody, any of your listeners, or Kerry, if you had a chance, watch our videos, and we describe in our stock index, there was 3 cycle points, and the next, which it said private, and it was basically a blue stock index. Okay. And it said there's a specific day to make sure you're completely out of the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
And B, that would be that point. The blue index point would be the point to go short because time runs out. Okay.
Right.
And that's today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Today,
so this is equivalent to the point that when I did the interview with Rick Wiles on July 20th, saying the stock market is going to roll over and start to drop. Well, that was the July top. Now we're looking at it dropped. The wedge broke. So watch our videos. The wedges are broken. And then now it's come back up. So we've had a September, somewhat of a pause in September, because when a wedge breaks, you get a pause. Mm-hmm. And then you get meltdown. And so the pause ends today. Now, does that mean it has to end today, or it could be tomorrow or into the end of the week? It's the point that it's the inflection points here. Okay. It could perfectly maybe be right here, or it might be a few extra days. We don't know. We'll know by the end of the week or by next week. But I will tell you, our time for the cycle ends today. Right. And so whether it drags it a few extra days or turns tomorrow is irrelevant. But the direction now is down. And more importantly, this down is going to be very dangerous, because the down here takes out all of the August lows.
Yeah.
Okay. So in November, all the August lows will break, everything across the world. And then you're going to get meltdown. So you got a flush straight down, and it's free falls. So November, the August lows will all break. When they break, you get a free fall, and the markets will literally collapse straight down in the month of November. And so we have our third video is called November 2015 Meltdown. And that is what we see coming this November.
So if you want to play this meltdown without a lot of risk, but with a large potential gain, how would you play it, Bo?
Well, Mike, again, I'm personally not a licensed broker. I can't give
no
trading
personal advice.
I basically refer everybody off to my broker if they want to put the trades on. Yeah. But what I'm doing is, I bought puts today, and that's what I did on the equity markets. So so that's my personal position, and I use my turn date. So I have a date before the year, into the year end. I have a specific date that I will exit all my positions. And so it's like today's a blue index. There's a black index, which would be the low. I'm going to, on that date, get out of all my positions. And that should technically be a cycle low, just like August. There was a cycle low in August. We exited on that exact date as well, too.
Right. And hey, so when's the cycle low for the stock market? What are we thinking?
Well, so then that takes us to the bigger picture. There's going to be several lows, Kerry. This is not just going to be a drop. It's not just going to go drop straight down. It's like anything. It's going to drop. It's going to bounce. Going to drop. But each drop
will be lower.
Right. So that's called a bear market. It's lower lows,
and lower highs.
And lower highs. Exactly.
Yes.
So that goes back to, again, you need to watch our videos again, but we talk about, this goes back to year 1764 with a currency act. I know you and I have talked to that before, but every 21 years,
you're going back to that, huh? To the Currency Act, which set the value of a dollar in silver. Memory serves me correct. A certain number of grains, correct?
Yeah. It all tied into that point. And this is a biblical number of 2,520. Watch my videos. It's a biblical number. And what happens is this is 21 times 12. And so 12 is it's like 12 months of the year. You take 21 months and you multiply it, and people think, I know all your listeners are saying, "Hey, come on, that really, they don't believe it." But watch, you do that, and what's going to show is that every 21 years, and this is the completion of it, in the year 2016, there will be an ultimate meltdown low, possibly into the lows of 70% crash on the world markets from the July top that we call to the day.
That is pretty amazing. you can't help but be skeptical with the exactness that you're calling this, Bo. I mean,
No, and I fully agree with you. But this is where we've done the work, and I completely agree. I know it's hard to believe, but I just like what examples can I use? We've got with in July 20th, and we called the date, and it dropped and it fell from that exact day point. Watch our videos, Kerry, and we stated September 2nd. I think it was a green index point. September 2nd is an up cycle, and we were 100% right on that. We also stated in the video part 3 that the gold is supposed to break out between last Wednesday and last Friday, and it did it on Friday. So there's a lot of cycle work that we've been doing that has been incredibly accurate. And I know it's hard to believe, and I'm not gonna, it's hard to say anything more than we see it coming. We're doing this interview today, Kerry, for a specific reason, because today is the 13th of October. This is the blue index time point on our stock index. Okay. Mm-hmm. We can go back and look at this also a week down the road, a month down the road, and we will end up seeing you and your readers will end up seeing that this would have ended up being an inflection point upon the markets. And again, even for in September, everybody, I know there's so many forecasters that were forecasting a crash in the month of September. I think we were the only ones that said it wouldn't. We ended up being right.
Yeah, well, weird things did happen on that Shemitah, though. You can't deny that. Really strange happenings with that crane collapsing in Mecca on the day of the Shemitah, and I don't remember the other events, but there were. Oh, it was Putin going into Syria. All sorts of mayhem was taking place on that Shemitah. So just because it didn't result in a crash in the markets, you can't just put aside that 7-year cycle that seems to be endemic to humanity.
Oh, Kerry, no, I fully agree with you, because all my work is based on that. So no, I'm not putting it aside.
It just wasn't the big one.
Right. It wasn't the big stock crash.
Yeah.
Because even from a biblical standpoint, I think you understand, you're supposed to farm your fields up, and then so every 6th year you leave the 7th year vacant. Right. However, you're supposed to, on the 48th year, store up enough so that you don't touch it for the 49th or the 50th year. And that's what everybody's missing. The Shemitah is not over. In other words, this is a grand Shemitah that's coming in the year 2016, 2015, now into 2016. This is the completionary wave that finishes the cycle back 50 years or further. And so because the Shemitah is over. No, it ain't over. You have another year. And now this is the year of Jubilee, which is going to end up being like a super Shemitah, which ultimately, based on the 252-year cycle, puts in a massive crash low next year. And the problem is that low doesn't even hold. This is going to be a meltdown with a crash low, with new lows probably on the U.S. markets. And then you've got a megaphone pattern, or like on London, for example, that's look at the London stock market going back the past 30 years, okay? Or 20 years. You will notice, I don't have it here in front of me, the London market is going back to the 1990 or something like that. It runs up, and it's got a triple top on the monthlies. Okay, when a triple top fails, which it already has failed in August, it drops back down all the way to the bottom, which I think from 7,000 was a top, down to about 3,000 on the bottom on the FTSE, and then that breaks and it drops down to 1,000. So in other words, what is the world markets are showing is that ultimately this is going to be another 7-year cycle, like we talked about. This is down. There is no more recovery for years. This is going to be years and years of downward pressure on the market. It starts dramatically quick, and then because the sharp drop, but then it's just going to be consecutive drops for years to come.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's getting interesting there, Bo. Hey, just quickly, precious metals. You've been spot on about other things. Precious metals look like you're getting back on track, perhaps.
Yeah, we were looking for a big move in August, and then what happened? We had a cycle reversal, but ultimately, what we ended up realizing was, yeah, we made a big mistake. We made the cycle itself. There's an over every minor monthly cycles or weekly cycles. There was an overlying, like we talked about, a 2,520 week cycle, which was going back 50 years until that cycle ended. So when you watch our videos, we even said there's nothing going to happen in gold or silver the entire month of September, and the reason for that was because the entire 2,520 week cycle didn't end until September 23rd. So until that date ended, there was going to be nothing special happening in precious metals. We even did an interview with Future Money Trends in end of August or early September, and we actually stated that September nothing happens. Then the first week of October, the metals should start to move up, and then right after that, the wedge that we illustrate in our videos on gold is supposed to break. Well, lo and behold, and then that watch video number 3 about the 11-minute mark, we stated that the breakout should happen. Again, this was supposed to happen last week between Wednesday and Friday, and it happened exactly on Friday. Gold broke the wedge, and today, Kerry, this is the third day that gold sits above its breakout wedge. This wedge is a 4-year wedge pattern that's been unbroken, okay? And this is now today, even though they didn't, look how fun it was. They smashed it down, in the early mornings today, right? And what happened afterwards? It rallied back up. And where's gold right now?
Gold is up. It had an upside reversal. It was down $7.50 when I went to sleep after midnight. When I woke up this morning, it was down about 60 cents. And I will do a screen refresh on Kitco, kitco.com, not a sponsor, no interest in them. They just are easy to go to. It's up $3.10 to right around $11.6750, Bo.
Perfect. Okay. See, so now this is the third. So go to our videos, watch our videos, especially the third video. We show the wedge. Okay. The wedge was supposed to break on Friday. It did. It went up on Monday. And then today's Tuesday. This is the third day now. This is the third trading day of confirmation that the wedge is now officially broken. Okay. Silver broke the wedge already two weeks ago. It broke it a while ago. So silver actually is leading gold.
And silver, it's above its 200-day moving average or right around it.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what it is right now, but I do know that the silver's 4-year wedge broke. I think it was the first week of October. Okay, when it jumped at 75 cents, it took out the 4-year wedge. So silver broke out first. Gold was holding back silver. Gold was supposed to break out last week. It did. Now both gold and silver have broken out. Okay, so now both gold and silver are outside of their 4-year resistive wedges. Okay, they were descending bearish, bullish wedges. They're both outside of the wedges now, trading outside of it. And now with the dollar's in a down cycle, so we should have now a very, and I've written this and said this in several interviews, that October is supposed to be a very good month for precious metals. And so now that the wedges are broken, we should start into the latter part of this week and early next week. Again, the cycle continues up for gold and for silver this month and forward. But the key is the wedge is broken, and it broke, most importantly, on time. It was supposed to break last week, and it did. And now we have 3 days of confirmation where the gold is sitting above its wedge.
All right. And we're going to have to leave off at that. Bo, just tell us your website, where we find you, how we connect with you, subscribe to your service.
Kerry, thanks. Again, gold2020forecast.com. I had my webmaster upload all 3 videos. The first one was that in early September, second one about a week later. But so they're early parts of September. They're important to watch because they actually give you several forecasts that what was supposed to happen. And then all of those events happened exactly. And then the third video, which was just posted last 3-4 days ago, summarizes, it's only a 15-minute video, but it summarizes the first 2 videos and everything that we had said in the prior videos. But it's right to the point. So if you don't have time to watch all the videos, at least watch video 3, 15 minutes, and it will explain to you what to expect and what's broken and how all the world markets have broken wedges. And so when the wedge breaks, you get a pause. The pause is supposed to be finishing today into this week, but today is a turn date on the stock market. So this is this time window, whether it's today, whether it's a few extra days here or there. This is an inflection point, and then the markets are now supposed to be rolling over, and then with November is supposed to be very, very, very ugly for the stock market. So take the time to watch the videos, and again, my webpage is gold2020forecast.com.
All right. Hey, quick question. China, how bad is the crash going to be there?
China's been actually, thanks for asking that one too, but China, we forecast, watch our videos, we forecast the exact top on April 29th, we nailed the exact top. Okay, it's another thing, like coincidence, but we did it, right? Then we said on the September 23rd, China's supposed to drop also, and China also dropped the HSI index dropped 1,700 points starting the 23rd of September down to the 29th. So again, that was a perfect nailing of the cycle. And in China, how far it will go, I don't really have specific numbers, but I would suspect that it will melt down in the month of November with all the other world markets. However, China's market appears to be leading everything. So China always tops first and drops first, and then U.S. follows, and then most of the other world markets follow. So China is the leader relative to the other markets of the world. So again, China, is supposed to have a down cycle, and it should be falling with a month of November with all the other markets as well too. Interesting
work there, Bo. Keep it up. We will check in with you when all this starts unfolding, and we will give you a report card on this, okay?
Thank you, Kerry. I appreciate it.
I'm just teasing, but we will check back with you.
No, it's great. It's always fun to talk to you, Kerry. Thank you.
And we'll review what you talked about and how it's unfolding, because I think it's really important to get a clear perspective on things. And as always, you will find a link to Bo's site on my site, financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Make sure you go there, sign up now. We've got a webinar coming early November, how to pay off your mortgage in 5 to 7 years without really trying. And that means no added payments, no decrease in your lifestyle. It's just pure math, Bo. It really works. And by the way, speaking of math and lifestyle, our new sponsor, libertyhealthshare.org. I personally, Bo, am saving $950 per month on my healthcare coverage and $500 deductible. Certain requirements. You got to lead a healthy lifestyle and embrace the precepts of the health care sharing ministry, which means that you believe in the pursuit of life, liberty. You believe in the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness, and that's about it. And highly recommended. It's working great for me. Probably work good for you too. Bo, we will talk with you again soon. Be well.
Kerry, thanks so much. Have an awesome day. Thank you.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.